So welcome everyone, and we've got a great group of people here, and Scott, you made it. Yay. Thank you. So today we're talking about support, and a little while ago we, Beyond Being Human, started support groups, and we're going to be talking to a range of our support group hosts, and I'm just so happy that that has happened, and it's so rich having so many amazing people as the group hosts, and we're going to hear a bit more about what they do and their expertise and all of that, and they're all very, very experienced. And let me introduce quickly Tara, and you can have a quick introduction of yourself because you know you better than me.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tara Fischer, and I'm here in the Blue Mountains in Sydney. And I am someone called me a healer with a Swiss Army knife the other day, with with a lot of tools under my belt, running sweat lodges and women's circles and mentoring programs and various support groups to really be in service to our beautiful earth and humanity. Yeah, it was nice to connect with Michael just recently and to be invited to this amazing group of people with so many gifts and talents to be in service and support as well, this awakening that we're all experiencing. A little bit more about me. I think that's probably enough for now.
A little bit about the range of different kinds of things that you've done in terms of healing and all of that, please.
I first got on this path of awakening through a medical emergency and misdiagnosis by allopathic medicine, where they said they had no support for me or any cause or cure, which then I delved into the world of healing on all levels, understanding there was just something in me that said I could do it myself. And it was physical, mental, emotional, and a spiritual task for me, which led me down the path of awakening, first studying Reiki back in 1993, and then ranging on to various modalities of emotional clearing and healing, internal family systems, family constellations, and one of my big loves being on the Red Road and being in service, sharing sweat lodges. And being a moon dancer and supporting people to get back into right relationship and being supported by Mother Nature, and in turn having a beautiful reciprocity of support with nature and each other on this path of awakening. And various other things like Radiant Woman's Lotus Qigong and Kundalini dance. I was a body worker for many, many years, working on bodies, which in turn woke up my mediumship and all kinds of wonderful and wacky things, from what would you call it? Multidimensional being encounters and various things like that, which, I just keep studying the nervous system and how to best support others and in their awakening, and to be able to receive love and healing and support in all levels, first from self, then nature, then human, during support. So studied many, many things. I mean, the list goes on and on, from sacred sexuality, from, coming from a background of sexual trauma, and kind of looking at each each step where leads to the next step. So from sexual trauma to sexual healing and so forth. So all of those wonderful things.
Yeah, well, that's really, really amazing. And a number of the other people here, especially Rob Kirby and Miesha, have had this expansive experience across different paths and whatever, and we'll come around to them. And so the format today, Tara and I will be bouncing backwards and forwards, and we may ask questions of you, but also feel free towards the second half, if you guys want to ask questions of each other, that's fine, and we'll have a bit of a discussion as well. And just to kick everything off, I wanted to welcome Scott Catamas. We haven't actually been talking very much for quite a while now, but I watched one of your shows. I don't get to tune in all that often, just a couple of weeks ago, and it was absolutely fantastic. And I just totally love what you do, and you've been doing it for so long. Tell us all about it, and tell us about your life in service, especially with sharing all of these other people in your shows.
Oh, well, namaste. Good to see you. I do recognize some friends, including Maureen, who are here. So when the pandemic began, I started a show with my friend Deborah Giusti called Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. And, we realized everybody was home on Saturday night, and soon we were getting people like Deepak Chopra and Michael Beckwith and pretty much all of the significant New Thought leaders that Deborah and I have known for decades to be on the show. And it really grew, and the Zoom room was jammed. We usually had 1,000 people. And the original idea was we're going to do it for like 6 or 8 weeks because that's how long we thought the pandemic would last. Well, obviously it lasted a lot longer. And in the process, the Global Peace Tribe was born. Things kind of evolved, and I've been doing the show, hosting and producing it now for almost 6 years. And we are on every Wednesday and Saturday night. And the show is now called The Awakening World. Or just go to globalpeacetribe.com and you can learn about what we do. But our shows are kind of unique in that we always combine interesting speakers with live music. We always have, so there'll be a presentation, then some music, and people get up and they move and they groove and they dance, and that's kind of fun. Since your topic is support, I think I'll address that for a moment also. I make my living as a relationship coach. And for a long, long time, everyone was looking for their soulmate. But I noticed that now people are looking for their community. And during these powerful transformational times, it's very, very important for us to have community. And more people are finding community online, obviously. So I appreciate what Michael and Tara are doing. And a lot of different communities I collaborate with. I'm very active with the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. I'm active with Soul Search. I'm active with Global Coherence Pulse. I'm active with Unity Earth. And these are all beautiful, powerful online communities of like-minded souls. Some of those organizations I know some of you are already involved with. And so it is important for us to collaborate with each other and provide more opportunities for people to get inspiration and information. The last thing I'll say is we live on a planet where there is an equal and opportunity reaction to everything that happens. And I believe that anybody who's kind of been part of this group, we are the opposite reaction to what you're seeing in the mainstream news, which is all based on polarization, separation, us versus them. And I believe that we are about the unitive narrative, as my friend Jurkofsky calls it. And it's important for us to support each other. So thank you, Michael. Thank you, Tara, and everybody for what you're doing. And it's nice to be here. I can stay until 5, and then I've got to get ready for my show tonight, which goes on at 6, but I start meeting with my presenters at 5 o'clock.
Great. Well, I'm always in awe of people who more or less do dedicate their entire life into that form of service.
I was very blessed to have an amazing mentor. I've had many mentors, but probably the most significant one was a man named Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. Some of you might be familiar with him. He started and created nonviolent communication. And Marshall had a beautiful quote. He said, the greatest joy in life is being of service to others. The greatest tragedy in life is not knowing that. And so for those of us who have discovered the joy of being of service, we're blessed. Speaking of being of service, this is Jasmine Bear, who, when she hears me talking to other people, wants to come on and say hello. So she represents our fur family, which I'm sure many of us have wonderful fur family.
Cool. And this is my furry friend, Murgatroyd.
Murgatroyd.
Oh,
Thanks, Scott. Yeah. And Tara, did you want to ask Scott anything?
that's an incredible sharing in the work that he's doing, and what a blessing to have Marshall Rosenberg as one of your mentors. Yeah, I deeply love his work and being of service for him too, and the work that he shared. So yeah, just amazing. I'm yeah, blessed to be here with such amazing group of humans.
Marshall was a very, very beautiful man, and I got to know him quite well. We traveled together, we taught together. I did several video and television projects with him. And, he was absolutely dedicated to being of service to others and created a really very important framework for understanding why all of us do the things that we do, even the things that are seemingly crazy and have hurtful results. But understanding that it's all about getting our needs met, and it's a brilliant concept and very useful for relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Even being in service to the whole, right? To be coming from that deep listening place of the heart. Yeah.
Exactly. Now they say that nonviolent communication, also known as compassionate communication, is the language of the heart, and it truly is.
Mm.
Hello, Rob. Glad you could make it.
Hi, everyone.
And
I loved what I heard so far. It was very interesting, very inspiring.
yeah. And like you, I know well, and you were very generous in gifting me a bunch of workshops. And like I've said it a number of times, it really changed my life. And it is also the venue where I had my angelic encounter, which started off the whole Beyond Being Human thing.
You're a great example of darkness into light. I love what you did and the way you explore everything in a very humble way, Michael. It's fantastic. I'll just share a couple things. Is that I grew up just in the New York Metro, and it's arguably one of the most competitive places in the world. So, like in sports, and in school, in corporate, if you didn't bear down, you got thrown under the bus. So I went up corporate America like a house on fire, and I got recruited by Hughes Aircraft in Los Angeles, and I'm negotiating billion-dollar contracts with the Air Force, and I was really good at it, talking to rocket scientists all day. But guess what? I felt empty. I felt like, is this all there is? And it was heartless. And didn't matter that I was good at it. It didn't matter that I was getting promotions and they're flying me all over the place to negotiate. It was empty. So I started getting sick. And someone introduced me to Kathy Martino. And Kathy is a Reichian body therapist for celebrities. And so I go, oh, this is going to be so shallow. But it was the opposite. Like I'd walk into a session and Jack Nicholson was walking out. I'd walk into a session, Tony Robbins was walking out. So I'm saying, wow, maybe I'm in the right place. She must be good. And the deep tissue work, oh gosh, she rejuvenated my whole life. And she says, what the hell are you doing at Hughes Aircraft? You have the energy now. You opened up. You could change the world. I said, what do you mean? And she says, just lay down. I'll show you. And she pushed my neck, just the opposite side of my throat, the lower part of my throat. She pushed down on my neck. I'm laying face down. I left my body. I went into the other dimension, fifth dimension, whatever you want to call it. And I was completely mesmerized. and I saw all these beings, and there was no middle ground. It was either people in darkness who were like tortured souls or angelic looking people. And, she yelled to me. She goes, you can't stay here very long because you left your body. So I had collapsed. And it seemed like I was there for 20, 30 minutes. She goes, you're in eternal time. There's no clock there. So you got to come out soon. So I was there, actually, literally there less than a minute, but it seemed like 20 minutes. And I said, all right, I get it. This is shocking. And so after that, I started training with her mentor, Dr. Robert Sharp, in the Reichian area. And then he introduced me to Dr. John Pirakos, the Greek psychiatrist who created bioenergetics and core energetics. And that's how I wound up in Australia, Michael, because Dr. Pirakos wanted me to open it up there. And we together, before he died, we built the largest school in the world. It was very exciting because then I got flown all over the world, not to negotiate contracts for military weapons, but as we said, to support people and to love them and to show them that their wounds and their darkness is just really a doorway to self-love, to finding their own heart, their own soul, their own expansion. So that's what I love doing most. And what I get people to do, I teach people how to bond in groups, be it online or face-to-face, where they have to go and talk. Let's say I got 30 people at a workshop. Before I start, everyone has to talk to everyone, and you got to share what's the most glorious, loving thing about you, and what's your dark side. So everybody knows everybody else, and now the room is safe because anybody could say, I can say whatever I want now because I just told everybody what my darkest secret is, and I just told everybody why I'm a beautiful man, why I'm a beautiful woman. So I just did it with trial and error, and I found it, and it changed everything. It changed my whole life and the way I work with people. So it's very exciting, and I've only been doing it for 35 years, but I feel like I'm just getting started.
Yeah, totally. And just quickly run through a brief list of some of the modalities that you teach and integrate into the various different workshops, please.
Oh gosh, there's too many to list. I'm just obsessed, and I'm embarrassed that I spent $500,000 on workshops and trainings. But I would say, honestly, 20% of them gave me mentors that changed my life. And then Scott earlier, he mentioned about Deepak Chopra, and I had a guy who was almost a young Norwegian guy who was just about on his deathbed at 31 years old. He found out about me, and he came to work with me, and we transformed his whole life. And he built his software company up to 20 million. He sold to Adobe, and he told hundreds of people. He went to places in the French Riviera, all these conventions, and he's selling me. So he invited me to come to San Diego, and he lived in this little village called La Jolla, the little jewel. And I said, I can't stand LA anymore. The traffic jams, the smog, I'm out of here. So I moved to La Jolla, and the Norwegian guy, Jorgen, he referred me 80 new clients on the first day. 80. So I went into the village, and I said, I wonder who lives in this little village. So I walk into the health food store. Tony Robbins and his wife are there. And they got in a conversation with me for a half hour. And they go, oh, wow, Tony lives here. He has a castle in La Jolla. And then 2 days later, I go into the organic vegetable market, and Deepak Chopra's there. And I get into a conversation with him for 20 minutes. And I'm saying, I think I'm in the right place. So I got the mainstream guy and one of the most spiritual teachers in the world. So I think that in terms of modalities, body psychotherapy, I love. Opening up muscles, getting energy to flow. One of my gifts that the Lord gave me is that I have an open third eye, so I can see energy really well, and I can see where energy is flowing and where it's stuck, where it's overcharged and where it's undercharged. So that's why I bonded so well with Dr. Pirakos. So do body psychotherapy. It's Reichian therapy, bioenergetics. Then it evolved into a more spiritual version with core energetics, which core in Latin means heart. It's all about living from the heart, and that's your center. So I help people get grounded and get out of their head so they can connect their pelvis to their heart, their sexuality and their love united, and then their heart to their head. So they're not living in their head, and they can connect their vulnerability into a certain oneness. So that's what I love to do. I'll have to send you a bio if you wanted to know all the certifications.
In the show notes, there's going to be the link to your profile page on Beyond Being Human, which has all of that. And in fact, everyone here who's part of the group generally. And thanks, Rob. Thanks for popping in. So, Kevin, you and I have had various chats over the years, and I was hoping that you'd be able to make it, because I actually do consider that your life has been of service in the very, very unusual and in-depth experiences that you've had with other worldly beings. And we could talk for hours about that, and there's many interviews of you doing exactly that. Maybe just a few minutes talking about what you've experienced and how it led you to do the new Constitution initiative as well.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Michael. I do appreciate it. I realise I'm in a great experience here with other people. I know some of the people here, like Tanys, Stone Hobbit and Miesha, and I've watched many of Scott's podcasts and things and his shows. So, but to be invited here, I'm honoured by that. So thank you very much for inviting me. I'll keep it brief. I support the exo-conscious community, founded by Rebecca Hardcastle-Wright. The exo-conscious community has contact with a group of extraterrestrials that I've had contact with from the age of 8, when 2 of them materialized in my bathroom, frightened me to death at the time. But I have now been in contact with them all my life. I'm now 71. I support the exo-conscious community, and I was introduced to Dr. Rebecca Hardcastle-Wright. I did not know her, by Edgar Mitchell. Edgar Mitchell had passed 3 or 4 months earlier. He contacted me using my exo-conscious human abilities and asked me to convey a message to Dr. Rebecca Hardcastle-Wright. I didn't know her at that time, but I had a friend of mine who knew her, and she made the introduction. We've now become friends, and I'm part of the exo-conscious community, and I support that community. Within that community, we have a planetary constitution. And if you go onto the website, www.exoconscioushumans, don't forget the s.com, you can see their YouTube channel they have there. And recently, I was given information from this group of 8 extraterrestrials that they needed a mandated protocol so they could be received by humanity. So I wrote out the mandated protocol, and that is also accessible on the Exo-Conscious Humans website. So really, I'm supporting them. I'm honoured to be here. I do appreciate what you're doing, Michael. I've followed you for many years. We've had different discussions, and hopefully I will continue within that work that I'm honoured to do. The service to humanity. That's what we are all doing here. So thank you, Michael, for inviting me.
My pleasure. And yeah, I mean, it's really good. You're so clear with your experiences and everything. And I fully encourage everyone to seek out the other interviews that Kevin's done. And they're really in depth. And just to highlight Rebecca, who is also part of Beyond Being Human to some degree, which she's done many events with us. You can have a look through the people listed in our project generally under the Connect tab. But this is Rebecca's page, and the website is exoconsciousness.com and also exoconscioushumans.com, and there's other links in there as well. And you can read all about her. As while I'm here, I'll just pop over to Rob. There he is. And his links are all here, and you can read more about him and tune in there and connect personally on Facebook and various other places. This is great. It's all going well, huh? Thumbs up if we're going well. Yay! All right, so let's go to Maureen, please.
Well, hello. I would actually invite Susie on first because she has to go.
Thank you so much for that beautiful invitation to talk about service. All of us that are on a path of consciousness belong to the group of New World Service, and that's anyone who's serving humanity by being on a path of consciousness and how we are in the world and the work we do in the world. So just to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing, my recent work is to organize the Global Crystal Bowl Symposium, and we're organizing our fourth one to be in Cambodia at the end of next year. So we've had 3 in the past, and this is all about encouraging enthusiasts, professionals, teachers, and therapists who practice the playing of crystal singing bowls as a form of healing and raising of consciousness in the world. And the whole purpose of creating these symposiums was to create community, to come together as one, to support each other, to honor our work, to actually have guest speakers that come and share their experiences with others and teach. The rest of us are learning with all the collaborators that come and are a part of that Global Crystal Bowl Symposium. We're holding it just down the road from Angkor Wat, which is the largest spiritual structure in the world. The energy where we are in Siem Reap, in Cambodia, really supports this work with crystal singing bowls, which is being called one of the new medicines of the 21st century. And so how I came to this was I was CEO of the training centre for disadvantaged people for a long time. And through my interest as a teenager to work with those that were perhaps marginalised in the world. So I worked with supported autistic children and then the HIV AIDS community, and then my own husband's journey with cancer. And so it goes on. And I've always been drawn to be of service to others. Not that I really saw it in that way. It just seemed to be a natural step to want to take in the world. And I do think that being a part of the new world of group service is something that leads us to be able to experience our own soulfulness in a human form. This is my love. This is my work in the world. And it's wonderful to hear how the love for humanity takes so many different forms. I've loved to hear what Robin and Scott and Kevin has had to say, and I've known Michael's work for many years. I know Tara and I also know Maureen. So it's beautiful to be a part of this community. And I do think going into the Aquarian age, it is all about community. And it's wonderful to see that we can be in so many different communities simultaneously. I'm happy to be a part of this group. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you so much, Susie. It's incredible to hear the symposium and how you're taking this work forward all the way in Angkor Wat. That's going to be a very powerful experience there in that spiritual hub.
It's lovely how so many people from different parts of the world want to come and share their experience and share their expertise. Performing a free concert online has been a wonderful thing, something we've done at every symposium. So you'll be able to come and listen and be a part of that if you want to later in 2026.
Yeah, that would be amazing to have a link.
So go in to the Global Crystal Bowl Symposium 4 and have a look at the one that we did in November last year.
Beautiful. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Good on you. Thanks, Tara.
Oh, thanks, Susie. Such a pleasure to meet you today.
Just for the sake of the record, maybe just say your website name, please.
It's crystalsoundandlight.com. I'm just about a month away from launching a brand new website, but still it'll be the same name, crystalsoundandlight.com. Thanks, Michael.
Amazing. Thank you.
So let's hear from Miesha. And I haven't as yet been able to make it into one of the groups, and I promise I will fairly soon. And I'm just amazed at the breadth and depth of the work that Miesha has been doing over decades. So welcome, Miesha.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's amazing, a lot of amazing people here. My mission started, or I should say, I started getting the information for my galactics to do that mission in 1990, and that was to start support groups. I had been doing, bringing in people to speak at the conferences, and of course, this was UFO, ET stuff, my lab, all MK Ultra, all kinds of things like that. Because of my background being born into an MK Ultra family, and having MK Ultra sexual abuse, things like that going on, it was near and dear to my heart to help people who were alone and not having anyone to talk to. So back then, I started the groups physically and had them in my home, and for 25 years I did that. But then for the last, I guess we're on the 12th or 13th year now, 12th year, online, I've been doing them through Zoom, and they look up similar to this kind of thing. We do it as a gallery way, and for people who are experiences of everything from their ET contact, their being hybrids, or being in part of the hybridization program. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, so I specialize in trauma release hypnosis therapy and working with people who are experiences multidimensionally. Running support groups is really easy for me. Speaking at them, not so easy. Not great at speaking, but I'll move on here. So many different topics: MK Ultra Secret Space Program, Super Soldier, vets from military vets and PTSD, satanic ritual abuse, and I have 3 groups a week. So I have up to 14 groups a month. And so it's very important that people have a place to talk about this and understand it's been my mission since the 90s. And it still remains that. And with adding the last 14 years or so ago, I went to HMI Institute and got the certifications for my hypnosis. I work with people who are in trauma, who need to not only find out their information, but cut cords, cancel contracts. The healing in the body even can take place in the hypnosis sessions, and with cutting cords, canceling contracts, relieving themselves, releasing entities, and all things like that. That's part of what I do. I've been speaking out about this whole subject at conferences since my first conference in 1994, and continue to do that. Oh, and I have a great group that's Galactic Light Language. I also taught and help people understand light language and understand how to not per se translate it, but to get the messages from them, and only from the highest vibrations, and only with those from the highest vibrations. So every first Wednesday of the month, I have that group where people have come, like Stone has been there, and other people have been there to come to and share their galactic information, their channeling, and things like that. Being of service is just my life, and I really think that's about really all I can say right now. My website's starseedawakening.org. I do my groups at all different times, from everything from 11 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. And so that's me.
Wow, thanks, Miesha. What an incredible, incredible offering and service of a deep and brave, courageous heart to delve into all the MK Ultra and undoing all of that program to be in service. So, wow, just in awe. Thank you.
And there's Miesha's profile page. The links to websites, etc., and books and all sorts of things. And I also wanted to jump over to this page if you aren't aware of it already. This is where you can book for the various different groups that are happening. And you just need to click here to register, or down here, and you'll jump over to a calendar, and that's your local time. Like it says Sydney there, but if you're somewhere else, it's going to show up, and you can book there and you'll be sent the link through that. And if you feel to make a donation, that's gratefully accepted and appreciated. The other thing that I wanted to mention too is on the Our-Community page, there are these 3 pages of explanation about Beyond Being Human, the project rationale, values and offerings, and multidimensional reality. And I'll be adding to those different pages as time goes on. Let's pop back to Maureen.
Thank you so much always for the invitations to these wonderful groups. So many incredible people show up, and different ones every time. So it's always a delight. My work is of 35 years. I'm the originator of Inner Resonance Technologies, otherwise known as IRT. And one of my interviewers many, many years ago asked me for a couple of songs, and I went, "Oh, I've never been asked that." One to open and one in a transition at the break. And so we came back from the break, and of course, the first one was Imagine by John Lennon, and the second one I just pulled out of the air, and because I wasn't actually a Trekkie, I loved Star Trek. However, it just dropped in, and so I had no idea why. And then she, as we came back from the break, she said, "Oh, why did you choose that song?" And I went, "Oh, well, right until this very second, I didn't quite know why. However, IRT takes man where no man's gone before." So Beyond Being Human. And within my work, Inner Resonance Technologies, I've been focusing for the last 7 years on human redefined, Hu being another word for God, HU. Human redefined. And so various subtitles of that, like "Who Do You Think You Are?" However, my favorite one for this group would be "Waking Up Your Grand Galactic Self," because there's much more than meets the eye, as we all know. So it's multidimensional. It allows every aspect of who we are to come into a congruency and a coherence of the next level of our greatest expression of why we're here, wakes people up to their particular gifts, to shine their light in the world. It plays well with others. So it's a catalyst for each person to wake up their own programs, their own inner programs, hence the Inner Resonance Technologies. And so, of course, this is about service. I happen to have a support group here on the Beyond Being Human network. Thank you, Michael. It meets the fourth Saturday of every month to 12 noon Pacific. My middle name is Service. I have a couple of middle names. My other middle name is I just happen to be there. And so I love to be of service. And in fact, I'm known for my extreme generosity. And I don't say that from ego or any kind of aggrandizement. Oh, that's a good word. But just because I can't help it. I have that heart for humanity, as we all do. And so it just is a matter of just saying yes to whatever shows up. So I'm very grateful because that fuels me and gives me life, because I'm just a cell in the body of humanity. And in fact, by breathing, I'm actually breathing recycled atmosphere from the whole history, holographic particles of the whole history of the planet in every breath. So I'm part of and one with everything. So why wouldn't I want to help myself? So I don't know what to say right now. But my website is maureenedwardson.com, just my name.com. Yes, so it's so nice to see loved ones here and new ones to love. And know that I always gift a session of IRT for whoever shows up. It's just what I love to do. So
Thanks, Maureen, for sharing that. I would love to get maybe just a snippet to understand what is the modality of IRT.
it's a protocol of questions that is predisposed to yes, and you're saying yes to your higher, greater self, that then allows your quantum superconscious self beyond time, beyond space, to go direct into shifting and neutralizing the signals in our field, because the body is just like a radio receiving the signals going, right? And so when you neutralize the signal from all times and all places simultaneously, as is in the quantum opportunity, and it happens very rapidly. So some people have thought it as a spiritual bypass, but it's actually the opposite. It's a conscious mind and a body bypass, because the body just is a victim to the puppet, to the signals, and to the information of unresolved trauma in the field. So it's very gentle, very non-invasive. So while you set all the programs in place, you set all the agreements for safe and appropriate, for easy and gentle, for instant and permanent, for what's ready. And it just opens those doorways and allows that higher consciousness to do all the heavy lifting. Well, you get to go on an all expense a holiday in your mind and get to drift wherever and come back and say, "Oh, I had a broken bone and now it's all better." Over 35 years I've been doing this. People have healed broken bones in 10 minutes doing this work, doing activating their own internal programs, because we all have them. So it's just waking ourselves up. And so I don't do anything to people or for them. I just ask them the questions and they wake themselves up. And then whatever is relevant and appropriate for them is what happens. It's really beautiful to watch what happens. And my passion, of course, is teaching other facilitators. And I'm in a beautiful flow of doing that right now in a new group last weekend and a new group that's certifying next weekend. Lots of pebbles, dropped in all the ponds, all over the world. It's very simple work, and yet it's incredibly profound. So that's me for now. Does that help, Tara? It's just a series of questions. You just say yes, 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 and then it's like a super duper defrag antiviral program for your entire matrix.
Yeah, sounds incredible. I love how gentle and also specific to allowing people to open up to their own internal healer and galactic self. Like, incredible work. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. There's nothing to know. There's nothing for me to know. It's great because people can work in their own internal space. They don't need to share anything. So I like that about it as well. You don't have to bring anything up to conscious level even.
So I've had a couple of sessions with Maureen, and it was almost miraculous, or was miraculous. I had a locked shoulder and almost instantaneously just healed remarkably, and it got better and better over time. And yeah. So thank you,
I would just
Maureen.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. Well, I just have to say one brief thing, and another time I'll give the story. But I healed my own heart. I had a heart attack a year ago in May in Ibiza, Spain, and it was healed basically overnight. And but then when they couldn't find the 70% block of the second artery, the first one was 100%. Put 2 stents in, had emergency surgery. Thank goodness for medicine. And 3 days later, they couldn't find the second one. And 4 days, and 5 days they couldn't handle it. Normally, it's 2 weeks between procedures. They kicked me out of the hospital. They went in and had a look around. Your heart is completely has no blockages. Your heart is totally healthy. And I said, "Yeah, that's the power of love."
Amazing. Incredible.
So thanks, Maureen. And let's hop over to another couple of our support group hosts. Tanys.
How's everyone doing? It's great to see some people that we've known for a while. Of course, new people as well. So yeah, Jennifer and I do a support group together, and we work together quite a bit, actually. And we also do work with the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact. We both have roles with them. We also have roles with the Galactic Federation, so we've been cultivating those experiences lately and stepping into that more. If you want to know what I do all sorts of stuff. I'm a Celtic shamanic high priestess, and I am a galactic shaman, as well as a galactic ambassador. I have just graduated my first year program of the Galactic Shaman program. So that was fun. We had a great group come through. Excited. They asked for a second year. So the Celtic Shamanic program is another one that I do, and that's up to 4 years now, and it's writing and making. And of course, that goes with all the healing stuff that we do. Jen and I also do a couple of podcasts. We do Twillo Talk, which is lots of fun. And we just have authentic conversation that we bring guests on and go through. And that's lots of fun. We've had a few of you on. Yeah, we've been doing that for how long now, Jen? 3 years? Something like that. And we also do Galactic Gab with Dr. Lisa Thompson. We've been doing that now for almost a year. So we do lots of stuff.
Thanks, Hans. I love your range from the Celtic shamanism to the galactic shamanism, really bridging both of those worlds. And how do you navigate yourself going from very earthly bound to the Galactic Federation?
It's all journey work. I kind of got presented these things, So the Celtic Shamanic High Priestess program was presented to me. They just come, right? When we're ready, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And so I had all these teachers come, some in physical, some in not. So one of the other things that I had was I downloaded Nocti, which is a Pleiadian energy healing modality that works with grief and trauma. Another couple have come in over the last year, so part of the Galactic Shaman program. We also did Nigara, which helps work with the shadow work, and that one came through as well. So Nocti has been around it came in probably, I think, about 4 years ago now, and I just used it for the first year or so, figuring it out. Doesn't come with a manual when they just bring it in, and then and then they gave me a manual. It's been fun. The Galactics have just been bringing more and more in, and I've been doing more and more light language and that sort of thing.
And really supporting you to support others.
Well, they support me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
That.
Well, and I have a healing practice as well too, right? Where I use all of those. And Jen and I also do a program called Peacekeepers of the Light, which is a warrior training program, because we do deal with that side of things as well. That's me.
Your
It
profile
is.
page.
So the other podcast that we do is Explorations, and that's
right.
with Mike. Mm-hmm.
And
so we've had a couple of you on with that as well. So do Bridge to the Galaxy with the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact. So I do a fair number of different podcasts.
There's Sylvain.
Yep.
So yeah, and you've been very generous in your working with Beyond Being Human, in appearing all the time and being a host to these different shows and things. Am I asking too much of you? Sometimes I feel maybe I am.
It's always wonderful to meet all these people, right? We've got such a beautiful community building. So working with all of you, it makes it all worthwhile.
So, of course, now we've got to jump over to Jennifer.
Yes, please, because she just launched a book that you guys need to hear about.
Hi, everybody. It is an absolute honor to be here with all of you. And exciting to see so many of you again. And as Tana said, new faces as well. I am Jennifer Jurkofsky. I am a registered psychotherapist, certified Canadian counselor, intuitive life coach, psychotherapeutic Reiki. I bring in kind of a combination of traditional psychotherapy with energy healing and all of the galactics and you name it, we bring it together. So my role is really to try to bridge the traditional with the metaphysical world, right? Being able to hold space for every aspect of who we are when I'm working with clients. And part of every aspect of who we are, I had been given incredible access to memories of my life as a Lyran during the Orion Wars. And it started through dreams coming through, and then in meditation, channeled messages, until it really, they just downloaded the entire lifetime. Whew. Needless to say, it was incredibly overwhelming, but also absolutely magical. Going through the healing process of that again through the writing of the book was very therapeutic. There were several stages of the book. The first time through, I think I said grief 500 times. That was way too much. Or some piece of that, something similar. But as I was able to do my healing through that, the entirety of the book began to shift as well. And so now it is released officially yesterday, but technically today. And it's actually free on Kindle right now if you want to check it out. It is The Lyran Legacy. And so if you type that in, apparently there's actually a couple other books with that, but I'll put the link in the chat for you. And the book, what they've told me on many levels is it is one, an activation. So the people who have read it, my advanced readers, have been phenomenal in giving me feedback, and every single one of them said that it has activated a galactic memory for them, whether as somebody in the book or a role that was played in the book or something around their galactic lifetimes as well. And the other aspect of this is that time in our galactic history with the Orion Wars is very much being paralleled today. There is a lot of light that needs to come in to deal with some of these denser energies. And so our journey is an inspiration for today and the journey that we're on today. And so I say they wanted the book to come through and were very adamant that this was the time that it needed to be brought into the world in order to awaken all of the starseeds that are here for their mission and the light that we are meant to bring forward in order to help with Earth's evolution, humanity's evolution, and bringing in the next phase. So I will put that link in the chat for you all. And that's a bit about me.
Incredible. That's incredible, Jen. Thank you. And I just like to ask a question on how this galactic memory of the Lyran, what is it, the Lyran legacy? Did it come in dreams or just in meditation, or how did it arrive?
Yeah, wonderful question. So the first time I gained access to this memory was in a dream, and it was the first time that I was given access to the Akashic records. And it was one lifetime of several that came through in that dream.
Wow.
I woke up and immediately got go right. So I said, okay. And I just wrote down all the lifetimes. And I remember calling Tanys that morning saying, I have to tell you about this dream. And so we went through it, and Tanys started, saying, hey, have you looked at this? Have you seen this? And we were finding different things that were validating all of the information that had come through in the dream. And so that's how it started. And then I periodically would get more dreams of that specific lifetime. And then I was getting memories in the waking time.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, this is interesting. And every single time a memory came through, it was very clear, write it down, write it down. And so this was over the span of a couple of years of just writing down these memories that came through. And then finally they said, okay, it's time, you have to put it into a book. And I started to do that. Took probably another good year almost of just writing it, trying to format it, all of that. And then I thought, okay, this is good. I'm going to start to tell the world about it. That was a year ago. Since then, the amount of memories that have come back has been exponential. And so what I originally thought I was going to be giving to the world is something else entirely. And it's beautiful. The extra information and the details and all that they've given me. The way that the book is written, it's in parts. And so the first part of it is our galactic history. And so it speaks to everybody in the galactic history that we are all impacted by and how we carry the impact of that history in our DNA. And so that's the first section, just kind of going through the details of that history. And then the second section of the book is me telling the story of my life. And so that is written very much like a novel, and it goes through all of the different experiences, the emotions, the feelings around it. And then the final section talks about galactic influences on Gaia. So we're looking at Lemuria, we're looking at Egypt. So we're going through that whole timeline. And then there is a in-depth glossary that goes through all of the terms and everything that is important for us to know, to connect with, talking about harmonic resonance, what it is to be able to step into energy work. I mean, you name it, it's kind of in there.
Right.
And yeah, and so that's kind of how it came through.
Amazing. Well, I look forward to having a read. And what a generous offering of support to be in service that it's free at the moment. Like, thank you so much. That's so
Absolutely.
gracious.
My goal is just to get it to the world. That's what it's meant to do. It's meant to be out there. So as much as I can do that, that's the plan.
Incredible. I look forward to getting stuck into it. Thank you.
And also to mention that Jennifer is the host of a podcast on Beyond Being Human for the love of mystics. And we've done a few shows so far and more to come. This is Jennifer's page if you want to find out her links.
I've completely changed the cover.
Right, okay. And there's a big article here too, and yeah, so you can go through that. And the way to find these people, generally if you start at the Connect tab on the menu here on Beyond Being Human website, it's broken into all of these different people, but I'm actually in a quandary now. There's so many different people, and to actually find someone, I need a search button, and I'm hoping that that can happen. But a lot of the people involved in our project now are in the cast of the potential documentary that's been in development for quite a long time. And Melissa has done many different things, as has Rebecca, but I'll let you go through at your leisure. Lots and lots of really amazing people. There's Kevin. And yeah, so thank you, Jennifer, for your tireless efforts in working with Beyond Being Human.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm not sure. Is that Mary Jane Guest?
Hey. I had to find the mute button.
I asked you a couple of times in email, but are you willing to talk about your support group experience? I don't even know who the host was.
Yeah, well, I think the host was yourself. However, I'm not even sure of the other names. However, what I found what was beautiful about this place is it actually gave me like a place to actually sit down and take residence of all of the dreams, all of the experiences, because I've had experiences since I was a little girl sitting in a crib, and I had spirits and interdimensional beings like rising up above me. And I remember I would freak out, and my parents didn't know what was going on. They told me that they were bad dreams. However, they weren't. I was raised in a very religious household. So it was either angels or demons, God or the devil. And that didn't explain it, because as I got older, the dreams just changed. And as they changed, I went into interdimensional dreams where I would work with a partner, and me and that partner would be put in different simulations in different dimensions, and we would have to fight for hybrids, humans. And then when I lost that partner, or if I myself was killed in that scenario, I truly felt the loss. I mean, I would wake up at 12 years old and have bruises and scrapes that I could never explain. I don't know. I feel like that's what the world needs, is because we're told, is like children, is like, no, it doesn't belong because it doesn't make sense in this dimension. But, if the past and the present and the future are happening simultaneously, then it's all happening. I know even to this day, like I have dreams like last night, and I'm being put in front of a council. I'm sitting in a council, and when I first walk into this room, everybody looks human. And I'm like, what am I doing in this room? And I'm asking myself that. And then as the conversation goes on, I'm seeing these people morph into hybrids, different dimensional beings. Like, how do you really explain that? Like, it's not my imagination. And I really feel like I was really condemned by it, like growing up. But however, it's been like this beautiful twist of how we need to help the future move on. And how many of us are out there, like with the young kids? How many of us are out there that like experience this every night when we go to bed? I didn't want to fall asleep as a young girl and a teenager. I was terrified because I didn't know what type of simulation I was going to be thrown into. And like, that's a hard pill to swallow when you're just brought here and you're just like, oh, you're in this human being body and you got to figure it out. And nobody around you. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in a household where I was pretty much the black sheep.
Yeah. And so you're really talking about last full moon event, which was all about experiences and celebrating experiences. And so we're actually extending that into this full moon event, talking with like Kevin and Miesha in particular, but also Tanys and Jennifer and others, dealing with exactly what you're talking about. Like, who do you talk to? Where do you find your community to share these amazing stories where most people will go, what, you're crazy, and all of that. And so that's exactly the kind of reason why we're holding these support groups. And yeah, thanks for popping in.
And I feel like these conversations are super important because I will say that, like, within the last year, within the community that I have found, after I have had to give up everything that I've ever held sacred, a marriage, a son, because they were making me feel like I couldn't express this person that is sitting in front of you. And like in the 3D, if everything's good, then why are you going to throw it away? But at the same time, if I'm not allowed to be myself, then who am I really at this point in time, right? Like, I reincarnated here to do this. I love this community, and I love the LightNet community with Zinka Caro. Like, she's amazing. It's been a really beautiful experience with like being able and being afforded to go to the Conscious Life Expos. And the, what's the other one? Shoot, I'm drawing a blank.
Contact in the Desert?
Yeah, Contact in the Desert. Like, yeah, and then like sitting in on some of the speakers. 'Cause I never really did like alien abduction and sat in on that whole thing. But then I realized when I sat in on it, it was like, I'm seeing the same three beings is that person over there. However, I'm having a very different experience. I'm not taking the experience as being traumatized. I'm taking the experience as, wow, they're really trying to show me something that is happening. Because I woke up and I had three beings appear at the bottom of my bed and a shadow person on the right-hand side of me. And they told me exactly what was going to happen in my life. And however, at the time I was like, oh my God, like I'm head over heels in love with my husband. We have a beautiful relationship. I love my son. I love where I'm at. How is this ever going to happen? And then within 5 years, it's this progression of things that just don't add up. And I can't live with it. So then I have to move on. And so it's been a progression of
the story that they've unfolded to me. However, at the time you wake up going, how in the hell is this going to ever happen? I don't ever see this happening. Like, and like, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, totally. And so you're given a perfect segue to Stone Hobbit. But Tara, did you have anything to add to Mary Jane?
I was just resonating with her story and how she's coming into a place of receiving the support that she needs to be able to enhance and share her gifts and her story and her experiences to the wider community.
Cool. So finally, Stone Hobbit, you have been holding groups for so many years and had so many different kinds of experiences, but please tell us about your work and your life in support.
Always happy to be here. And yes, I recognise a few beautiful faces there, and it's always good to see new ones too. Briefly, I started in a very dark place. I was basically raised in a pedophile cult, and I was then trafficked around different families, and I found my way out of it. And I never knew that it was something that shouldn't be happening. It was a way of life, and it's the only thing that I believe that got me through it. And through that stage, I did the demons and the angels and the fairies and the horn guys and the myths, and every step of the way it changed. It got stronger and stronger. I started recognizing these grey beings that would turn up. I got put into different situations that were like what you were saying, Mary Jane, is like, how is this possible? And then being put into, like, being told you're not going to amount to anything. I broke through the stuck states. I was put in positions for short periods of time to pick up as much information as I possibly could, transmute the energy, feeling state, and everything that I was experiencing, because by this stage I now had stepped into and discovering I'm not just Hugh man, right? I am dimensional portals. I am access to so much more. There's information out there. And it's like, I have to say, I acknowledge myself. I acknowledge the journey that I've been on. I acknowledge all the forces that came into play, and now I can recognize them. Now I can communicate with them. So I'm no longer the abductee, the victim. I am now the contactee, communicator. So I'm also stepped into the portal abilities, being able to channel myself to whichever direction I need to go, whichever dimensional being I need to be in contact with. And they show up in everybody's lives. And the work that I do is I'm showing us all that whatever stuck state they put us in, we can get out of that. I can't heal anybody per se, but I can help you create the tools that you need to manage so that you can find what you need to heal yourself. Because the true healing comes from within, and you have to walk the path. You have to want to do this yourself. Nobody else can do this for you. What I offer in my groups is I hear you, I feel you, I sense you. It's like I don't work with people that don't want to help themselves, all right? It's not just the physical. It's not just the mental perspective. I can help you lift the veils. It's just changing your mind's perspective of what's in front of you, the density that's in front of you, what's holding you back, what forces are around you. Where we take away all of these different veils, we reveal who you are and what you want to achieve from in here. I do a lot of inner work, inner child work. I was on a quick journey to find my higher self. She introduced me to my inner child. We've become best mates since then, and now we are time travelers
Amazing.
and healers. Okay, and it starts with feeling safe enough to open up. And with all the forces and energies and bombardments that are out there, you have to be careful. You have to find the right resonance. All right. Do not blame yourself for anything out there. When you're not aware of something, you can't change it. But as soon as you become aware of it, you then become responsible for your actions. That's the crossroads. And this is where I see us at the moment. So we stand strong and we put the absolute authentic self of us forward in giving and showing the journeys that we've shared thus far with the true authentic findings, we're going to levitate ourselves even further. And that's why I come to these groups. That's what I offer. This is ourselves doing our deep inner self healing so we can step back into being telepathic with each other. We have to clear some of these different channels that we use so we can once again use what we already have and are aware of. So that's the work that I do. Thank you, Michael, for the work that you do, and everybody else. Miesha, everybody for coming. Thank you very much, and stay strong, stay calm. Breathe when you need to, but stay strong because we're winning. We're winning. So thank you.
Incredible. What
I have a couple of groups each week. My regular group is Hearthfire Hangout. Our regular group is Hearthfire Hangout. We cover whatever comes up. We will break it down. You can be vulnerable, you can be on camera, off camera, whatever you feel comfortable with. I co-host with a lovely lady called Auric Vibe 1111. We have two groups. We do divination. This is oracle stones. We do many different forms of divination, channeling, vocalization, alignment, and healing. So we had Miesha on oracle stones as a reader. Absolutely fantastic. We're going to do that again. Thank you, everybody, for doing the work that you're doing. Much appreciation.
I'd like to ask, whereabouts are you?
I'm in New Zealand.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you can go to Stone's profile page where all the links are as well. And yeah, just beyondbeinghuman.org/stone-hobbit. Now it's open to everyone if you'd like to ask questions of each other and share stories. Over to you.
I just like to say it's nice to be in a room of like-minded souls and beings who've had incredible otherworldly and very humanly stories to share as well on this path and this road to awakening. It's not always easy, and it's definitely not always easy to understand. From my perspective, in my first awakening, happening on a dance floor at a rave, and then all of a sudden, there's Pleiadians and Greys and not really knowing what's going on. It's not a story that I really share with people. So it's nice to be in a room of like-minded souls who've had such otherworldly experiences, and I don't feel alone. This is exactly what, being here and supporting each other to share our stories. Oh, that actually made me feel quite emotional. So just want to say thank you. Feeling it in my heart and my bones.
Yeah, I totally agree. And almost every day I am just so thankful that my experience, because I haven't had that many otherworldly kinds of things, but the angelic encounter led me to create this group. That's one thing. But then the messaging that came through led me to all of these people. And what would happen is I'd be watching videos and suddenly felt like an expansion in my heart, for want of another way of saying it, but basically, like, oh, you've got to contact them. And so even a number of years ago, that's how it all started, where I'd reach out to people. They didn't know me. I'm a nobody in terms of like the global movement of all of these sorts of things in disclosure and whatever. I'm just a filmmaker, a photographer, digital media producer. But these amazing people having these incredible experiences. It's like, wow, this is incredible. And they're now sort of slowly we're creating this community, and I'm just ever grateful. Yeah.
Well, it's really a testimony just to following that yes, even when it doesn't make sense. As often our yeses don't make sense, or what we're sharing or feeling often. So it's, it's like how you contacted me. I've only been in contact with you for a couple of weeks now, and it's just kind of expanded, and you're like, oh yes, and you feel familiar to me, and like an old friend without even meeting each other. So thank you for the invitation, and also the recognition and following that unexplainable yes to reach out.
That's what happens. Yeah. Anyone else want to ask anyone a question?
I really just want to follow what Tara said. Like, I'm really new here. This is the only second time I've ever jumped on. And I'm just really thankful and grateful. And it's an honor and a privilege to sit in everybody's energy and listen to your stories, because they all hit home at some different level. They all hit home. So I just want to say thank you to everyone here for holding the space, because
Well,
this is where it begins.
that's
You know,
right.
it begins with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to share, Michael and Mary Jane, I wanted to speak a little bit to what you had shared as well. I've had experiences since I was a very small child. I actually had my mother telling me about experiences she had while I was in her womb. So
Wow.
these experiences have been with me my whole life. And I remember as, a child growing up, those beginning years, my mom's way of dealing with her experiences was to turn to drugs and alcohol. And that became her way of coping with things that she didn't understand. And it wasn't until many years later that I had support from other family members who understood what was going on and were able to handle everything. But by that point, I had said, that's it, I'm done. I don't want to see anything else. I don't want to have these experiences anymore because they were too much. And it took years before I was willing to open myself back up to that. And I had to go through my own transformational experiences, which, as we know, can be quite difficult, right? That breaking us down before we go, okay, I surrender. Now what? And so I just wanted to put out there that with anybody who's doing the support groups, we all have different experiences and things. And I know Miesha has shared in there about her group and Maureen with the IRT, but, for Tanys and I as well, in our group, it's a free zone to be able to share about these experiences, talk about them, just to express, hey, I'm here with you. I don't know your experience, I know mine, but, we have that ability to hold that space because we've been there in some way. I'm going to mute now because the dogs are trying to chime in.
Like some of you, I had a demon that hung out in my bedroom when I was 4 and had blocked all of those memories. Also closed all my stuff down after that. Didn't really start. I knew that I was feeling stuff. I would see things periodically, but I would shut them down because I didn't want to do that. And I was always I was an only child, but my parents were not into this stuff, so there was no support there for anybody. And that is a big part of our mandate, I would say, with our support group and with the Twillo Lifestyle community. We both work together there as well. And it's all about that community and feeling like you have somewhere where you fit in. And so Beyond Being Human is an extension of that for me. So, I mean, we've been working together now, Michael, for how long? 3-4 years?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been an extension of that. And, the more that we have these experiences and can speak about them in a way that is I mean, I wanted to say in a way that's positive, but more proactive, I guess you could say, in the sense of working towards healing, right? Working towards acceptance and healing. That's part of why Jen and I started the Peacekeepers as well, because we were running into people who needed the services, and because they've been through this stuff and they needed spirit releasement, or there just seemed to be that sort of thing. And Jen and I we both had experiences when we were young, and so we've also done this in many lifetimes, right, Jen? She and I have had many lifetimes together, one of which is in the book, and it's been so we've done this before, and I'm always grateful to be doing it with her, and many of you as well. I'm sure that we have met and been together in other lifetimes, other planes, other dimensions. Yeah, it's a beautiful journey, and we're just walking each other home. It's all about love. And actually, I was downloaded a whole thing about lead with love and let love lead you not long ago. It's just about 2 paragraphs.
Carry on.
Okay. Lead with love and let love lead you. The majority of us are living on the earth, living in fear, not love. We grew up learning in schools that put our kids in fear, get good grades, or else. We work in workplaces that perpetuate fear. Do your job right, no exceptions, or else. We spend time on social media in fear of cancel culture. We spend time with family, and we better act the same as everyone else, or we'll be judged. What happened to forgiveness, compassion, kindness? We're all human, here to learn each and every day. Why do we expect each other to be perfect? And what is perfect anyway? In order to learn how to walk, we had to do it through trial and error. Why do we think it should be different as adults when we start something new? So many have lived lives filled with trauma and fear in the name of righteousness, in the name of religion, in the name of politics or money. We live our lives feeling less than because we hold each other and ourselves to impossible standards. We expect ourselves and others to know how to do everything right off the bat and not make errors. How do we learn if there's no space to do it? Through trial and error. Love versus fear. Why do we want to lead with love and create a more loving world? Fear creates stress, disease, feelings of inadequacy, all of which our human bodies can only withstand so much. Love, on the other hand, our bodies can live with an abundance of and avoid many illnesses and diseases. You can never have too much love, but you can certainly have too much fear. We've seen how stress ravages our bodies and infects our minds. Just look at the number of people suffering from stress-based illnesses or dying from stress-related diseases. Added to all of that, we've never been shown or given permission to feel our emotions, much less express or process them. So we push them down so far that we stop feeling them entirely. We become so out of touch with our bodies that we don't even recognize when we're feeling something. We experience and process our emotions through our physical bodies. The main reason we came down and incarnated on Earth is because we can experience the whole gamut of emotions because we have a 3D body. When we are in our soul state, we're just energy. We don't experience emotions in the same way at all. We ask our leaders to prioritize creating love, not fear. Prioritize love over judgment, compassion over righteousness, kindness over money. Let's encourage personal power, collaboration, and personal responsibility over power over, control, and separation. We're all living beings with consciousness, doing our best to learn the lessons our human lives have presented. Each and every one of us is different and unique in our own ways. Why do we judge each other? What are we afraid of? Why do our differences create so much separation and fear? If we're all unique, we can all bring our beautiful, unique talents, skills, and abilities together to create a beautiful, loving environment. We can help each other to create a world of abundance where nobody knows lack.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. And jumping back to Jennifer, this is the Amazon page of your book. And yeah.
Should be good to go.
Yeah. So there we go. Leading up to this, I had a number of people, new people are coming kind of all the time in the Facebook group especially, and like, what is Beyond Being Human all about? But I wanted to read this. It's a work in progress. So Beyond Being Human aims to explore our multidimensional nature. That's one thing. But also nurturing our divine spark. Those two messages are what I kind of got in the initial inspiration about Beyond Being Human. Even those words were kind of given to me, and a few years later, another set of words were given, Open Source Awakening. And they're the key kinds of, I guess, bylines of the whole project. But the mission, Beyond Being Human, reveals humanity's multidimensional nature through rigorous research and publishing of documentaries and interactive education. I'm still working on getting the documentary made, and it's probably going to take a while yet. But the problem, people with multidimensional experiences face ridicule when sharing their reality. Mainstream media sensationalizes these experiences, and credible sources are hard to find, despite rapidly growing interest. And that's why doing these sorts of groups is important. Like, we can gather the tribe and those who need to express and share and find other like people, as we've been talking about. And our solution, sharing content from vetted experts presenting multidimensional topics without sensationalism. We are creating a diverse and coherent resource library, ensuring credibility. And in fact, I wanted to mention with the Mystics podcast, that also goes to a list of mystics that we're going to be exploring in various different ways. One of the first episodes of that podcast looked at Swedenborg, who, in my mind anyway, is a fairly central person to look into in terms of nurturing our divinity, I guess. And strategic partnerships with experiential science-based organizations such as LightNet. And Zenka and I hope to work more closely with her. I'm just so impressed by what she does. And our ecosystem serves as the definitive platform for meaningful multidimensional exploration. There's lots of other kinds of descriptions on the website. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that on record. Any comments? Stone?
I'd be happy to do some of my vocalization if you like. It'll only go for a minute. Feet on the ground, grounded. When I make these sounds, just go into that location that appears to you, that you feel it, and allow the vibration to fill that location. You can use it as healing if it's needed to be healing, or movement for alignment. All right. Deep breath in and release. There you go. Thank you. Feet back on the ground.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah.
I would like to hear who Matt is and Sue, and Matt just unmiked. So yeah, I'm curious about those two that have been so quiet in the background.
Okay.
So yes, Matt and Tara are good friends, shall we say?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's been great to listen to everyone's stories and hear, to meet people like yourselves that have been having these experiences. And I guess my question was like, I am really interested in all of this, and I find it fascinating. And I understand that we are multi-dimensional beings. And I was thinking, how do you access these different beings and become in contact with them? Because that's something that I'm really interested in. And then just from what Stone was sharing then, it's like, oh, you can do it through sound and vibration. And I was just like, yeah, it's like, well, I have the tools here in my home to use to be able to access that. So yeah, it's like it's interesting that we've come to this realm to, I don't know, to experience what we need to experience. And everyone like yourselves have these gifts and are meeting other beings, and like the majority of us aren't, but it's like, how do we access that, and how do we tune into these other dimensions? And it's like, yeah, I guess I just realized that, yeah, I have tools through sound and vibration where I guess I can, if I keep using and practicing that, I can tap into that.
I'm sure there's lots of people here who want to jump in and answer that. Who first?
And it's like, how do we open our own gifts so we can communicate with these beings? That's my question.
Miesha, please.
My strongest advice would be to realize that they're there. They're right there, and they have been there since the beginning of your incarnation on this planet. We just forget to remember that there's non-interference, and they do not interfere in our lives unless we ask for it. So ask, like you said, use the frequencies, the vibrations, the galactic language to activate your connection with them. And then it becomes a daily thing, and it's so wonderful to feel them all the time. And water is a wonderful frequency conduit as well, and of course nature as well.
Water is a conductor, but what I would truly recommend is if you haven't had any dreams that kind of bring you to any type of conclusion, is maybe just do a past life regression. So I am a QHHT practitioner through Dolores Cannon method. And, I have gotten a lot of my own past lives brought to me by the people that I do sessions with. And because we all draw each other, there's a reason why you're sitting in this room and you're like, how come I haven't had that experience? You have, it's just, everybody's different. And maybe there's something in your subconscious that needs you to get over something, but you've had them. That's why you're sitting here in this room.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. When you say water, how would you use water? Because that's a thing that's come up a lot in the last 12 months, like the consciousness of water. And
with
Yeah.
intention. So what I could just say to you is like maybe get a bowl of water, or if you're standing at a lake, a river, or whatever, put your hands down and just put your intention, like, which is light, love, positivity. And then you want the best and highest good and the best and highest timeline for yourself, Mother Earth, and all of our sentience. And then you want to uncover some of the things that you, and whatever they may be, I'm getting the sense that you probably have some ideas of the things that you want to uncover,
Yeah.
but you're just not saying them out loud, and that's completely okay. We've all been there. So just put your intention with light and love and positivity, and water is a conductor. And as long as you do that, like, you're in like Flynn over like Rover, and then set your intention when you go to bed at night. Like, set your intention, like, say a prayer and just, pray. I don't care who you pray to, just call them and pray and just be like, hey, look, this is what I want. And can you please help it happen? Or this is what I want to uncover. Can you please make it work for me and allow me to see it with the ease and the grace? Always ask for ease and grace, because sometimes you can be thrown into some shit.
Yeah.
And for your highest good as well.
Right.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you.
I'm sure Stone's got lots to say about all of this.
Okay, you twisted my arm. Okay, I can feel it. Okay, I back in the day did a lot of water techniques, water affirmations, Dr. Emoto. Then I'm also a phlebotomist. I'm a lab technician, ex-lab technician. And so knowing the vibrancy and the life of a blood cell, and getting to communicate with water on that level, I basically had my water was purified, put into a jar with a positive affirmation on the side, facing the sun as it rose up, surrounded by plants, all healing plants. And during the day, if I felt like I needed a boost somewhere, I'd go and take a little sip of that, and I would feel that as it went down, because the words were right in front of me. Sometimes we need that visual start to get us kick-started into becoming that water element. When you realize that your body is X% water, you have that knowledge and information coming in from all these areas. It's coming in at a pure state. You want to take it in as a pure state. You want to use it to go and heal those areas and flush out the foreign bodies and the foreign particles you don't need in your system. The way you can also transmute it into a positive energy, so it straight away goes to those locations. It's like having a breath. When you remember how to breathe, all right, you have some blockages that you've got to move out of the way. They're there. They were there for a safety reason. They can be released. This is a time right now where we are releasing all our junk. We're stepping into the more encouraged side of ourselves. We've done that much work that we're finding ourselves in these positions. And this is what I'm seeing. If you communicate with your water, ask it, tell it what you are wanting, health-wise, where you want it to go. If you can envision the healing it's doing, just as you taste it and your whole mouth starts to tingle, that's the magic happening within your body. So you have the power, we all have the power and abilities to transmute every kind of spell cast that was ever put out there. Okay, all limitations and stuck states now are being released. So good work. If you're here for a reason. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, well said. And look, time, would you believe, has kind of run out for the official part of things, but we're going to stop the recording in a minute and carry on in the after party. And if you are watching this on YouTube and want to join the after party, that's possible. Just go to beyondbeinghuman.org/our, as in OUR -community, and click the RSVP, and you'll be sent the Zoom link. But any last comments from anyone? Any other questions?
Be nice to yourself. You deserve it. That's all I got to say. Cheers.
Over to you, Sue.
Oh, I thought I escaped it then. Thank you very much for the invite. Thanks, Tara, for bringing me in. I'm very honoured to be part of this group. I haven't, well, I guess, I kind of have had green eyes in my wardrobe, and when I kind of think about it, strange encounters, you kind of, talk to other people and they dismiss you and you go, oh, just, I don't know what was going on there. Or let's just move on and go back to normal life. So it's interesting how you've explained it all and your own experiences. So, I think I would like to do some work to sort of understand what those green eyes are all about, and some of the other images that I have seen over the past that I've dismissed because, usual life doesn't accept those sorts of elements. So this is a wonderful opportunity to explore that, and I thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And yeah, everyone, please invite more and more people. And that's so I'm just going to wrap up now. Just a little bit of promotion because that's my job. This page is called, you can find it at beyondbeinghuman.org/inviting-new-members, and I'll be putting the link in the show notes and in the chat here in a minute. And this is where our main access of different kinds of things. And it'd be great if you did feel like becoming a member monthly or annually. And there's going to be a new tier that's going to incorporate all the Patreon publishing as well. And this page, inviting new members, has a particular document that I've prepared to show people what's going on generally. And you can just flip through this at your leisure. It's, there's a lot of stuff that's buried in the website, and you have to spend a bit of time uncovering it all. And you can go through that yourself. That's me. Oh. And a little bit about me, etc. And the Crystal Visionary is now part of the Beyond Being Human website. It's redoing the magazine onto the web, and I'm slowly but surely working towards that. And anyway, that's all there. And if you'd like to become a member, there's a page called beyondbeinghuman.org/membership. And you can just jump down here. There's the monthly or the yearly. Once again, any last comments, questions, testimonials?
No, I just wanted to say thank you, Michael, for inviting me into this beautiful community of beings and all the ways that we are supporting each other, and just acknowledging you and the tireless hours and hours of work that you do just to follow your heart and the message of your angel to bring this to humanity in the ways of supporting us to all elevate our consciousness in this process of awakening. So thank you.
Well, thank you also. And I forgot to mention that you're a virgin. This is your first webinar.
I am.
Did a great job.
Took me a bit to break to break the seal, but I got there.
Well, let's do more. Yeah.
Good. Thanks, Michael. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Any last comments, anyone? No? Okay. So have a wave, or slowly wave, because otherwise it goes all funny. And we're going to jump over to the after party now. Thanks everyone so much for participating. It was a really great session, and we're going to do it again next moon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.